leave, and also during the holidays, that the people have their beliefs also can do their relief activities or religious activities either at home or at school. Talking about the knowledge I learned, I actually applied to my daily business in terms of the laws, regulations. For my business, it's a restaurant. I have 66 workers and also have 20,000 incomes. I also plan to scale up my business and also to recruit more people to bring them to a better life. Some people said that this is the school, but actually is not a concentration camp. Actually, this is totally groundless false. Actually, this actually help us to back to the right track to our normal life. This is what we had in the schools. Next question, please. Thank you. From Korea, I would like to talk about a reporter from the Western media. The citizens actually interviewed a lady suffering sexual violence. And what's your take on that? And they also collected the evidence from their relatives. And also the question regarding the cotton and people saying that it's a forced labor in the picking cotton. And what's your standard to select people working for cotton industry? And also talk about, do you use a facial recognition technology to recognize or identify people with Uyghur nationalities? And is there any limitation on their freedom? What's your take on that? So thank you for your question. Then may invite regarding your first questions, actually, we had several briefings in this regard. Regarding the BBC's report on a female student suffered from the sexual violence is totally false information. We strictly in line with the laws and constitutions and also on the basis of protecting human rights and to also protect people's legitimate rights and interests. And we talk about there's no any activities relating to a personality insult. So the report mentioned by BBC is totally coming from nowhere. Talking about the female student, Uyghur nationality, 43 years old, from Xinjiang County. September 28, 2019, she left China in order to apply for identity, and he fabricated the rumors regarding his so-called experience in the working center in Xinjiang. He said that either the ladies experience that sterilization operation or stopped their period. Actually, this is the groundless accusation. Her relatives know it clearly that she has no ability to have children. And also talk about that the police knocked her down and he nearly fainted. An interview with BuzzFeed from the United States, she said that there is no abuse or beaten up violently. She received several interviews from international broadcast. Among all these interviews, there's no evidence related to either she was experienced the sexual violence. But actually, after she arrived in the United States, after several months of training there, she fabricated or had the ability to fabricate these rumors, which are not smart. However, BBC turned a blank eye on all deeds by reporting these rumors, and also came up with the result as a female student or workers in Xinjiang experienced the criminal assault or the sexual violence. We have saw these kind of descriptions in the foreign media's coverage. This is so-called evidence. So let's think about this. Is it possible? What does it mean by saying systematically sexual violence, which means each and every female student in the school experience all these? Think about this. The students in the schools and the females in the schools, either students or teachers. How come these rumors could be true? This is a basic fact. Should be common sense. So these rumors just based on the imagination, and I would like to ask the interviewee, by saying raping people based on the so-called systematic sexual violence, how could that person coming up with this conclusion? Either she was the victim or the female student come to that person and talking about this. Then we should also ask additional question, then who actually make you as the victim? Name them out. And also bring the facts in front of the whole world. Don't make all lies. And also last time at our prizer, one of the female students really angry about this, because this is something not really easy to say, especially for the female students. It's really hard for them to live their life going forward, because all these lies insulted the female students. And we also invited one student named Dilinar. Would you please talk about your own experience? Hello to all. My name is Dilinar Kahar from Karsh, and also a graduate from the school right now. I'm a commentator and the museum. So talk about what we learned Actually, first of all, our rights and interests were protected. And our teachers treat us so well, and we had a really good friendship, and we also keep contact, even though we graduated. After I heard this really bad news, so this is intolerant to us because we know it clearly that there is no one and single female student experience these so-called sexual violence. All these reports insulted us. If think about if your sister experienced this, or if your sister, can you say this to them by these rumors? So for the fabricators, so all spreading all the lies every day to bring the lies to achieve your goals. So where's your consciousness? I believe all these lies will basically have revenge on yourself.
关于这个第二个问题，这个棉花是白的，但一些
Talking about cotton. The cotton is pure white, but some people's mind is evil black. So it's so-called forced labor allegation. Let's look into details first. Talking about cotton plowing. Majority of places in Xinjiang enjoys a long sunlight time and also the big differences between daytime and nighttime, as little rain and sufficient water resources supplied from the mountain, from the snow on the mountain. So this is a quite ideal places to grow cotton. So that is why we could see that we have this soft and quality cotton from Xinjiang with high value. In Xinjiang, especially the southern part of Xinjiang, actually farmers really like to grow Xinjiang. They grow cotton because it's really good. The sales bring a nice income. In our previous presser, we have people from Kucha County. Already introduced the cotton growing situation, and for that person, he had a 300 mu for cotton. The annual income is around 150,000 RMB. Second, we talk about cotton picking. From the old days to the modern era, there was no forced labor. So when it comes to the cotton picking season, and people from Henan and Sichuan provinces took trains to Xinjiang for cotton picking work. It is really hard and challenging work for the people, but actually they had the accommodation and the contain all included. So people really like to work for cotton picking. So based on the basis of quality, well, communication, they signed the contract and also got their payment. In the recent years, we could see that mechanization actually is well advanced in Xinjiang. Even in the very busy time, we not really need many hands. According to the data in 2020 released by the local authority, the Agricultural Administration, 69.83% of mechanization were realized in the cotton picking. And also talking about the cotton processing, all the companies in Xinjiang follow the rules and regulations registered and also make their works follow the rules. So there's no so-called forced labor. So based on the law of the labors and also the law of labor contract of PRC, and they had signed the contract with the workers in order to fully protect employees' rights of the holidays, on-job leaving, the on-job protection, rights and interests, the insurance, religion, language. So based on all these facts, the cotton industry in Xinjiang has no evidence related to forced labor. The certain proportion of anti-China fabricated these lies. Their purpose is to damage people's rights and interests, and in the end, ruin people's normal life. We also invite a worker from a local garment factory. So my name is Li Mire from Aksu. Right now, I'm working for a garment company in Bula County. So I saw actually this DA job in the bulletin at my home, my village. I applied this job. So when I entered to the company, I had a 1-week training. And we also had a master to teach me. So my master actually worked for the company for 3 years. He's a really nice person. So my master told me everything. So with my master's help, just less than half a year, I already can manage my job, and also the 4,800 RMB paid monthly. And we had a free dormitory, and in dormitory we have the necessities. We have the internet access, and also have the washing machine, a television, air conditioned. So a very convenient life. And we also have the cafeteria dormitory, and we also have the chef to work for us, and also provide the local cuisines. So we really like the dishes at our cafeteria. And also the company also bought the mutton for us. So we also can have the barbecue. So for the after work, we can have the FaceTime with our family members, and the weekend, as our holidays, we also can go out with our friends, do shopping, or go to the movie theaters. And also apply for 3 days on job leaving to visit another place for traveling. And also for our traditional holidays, my company also had different kinds of activities to celebrate our holidays. So it's a very, very a nice place. After I entered to this company, I also actually give part of my income to my family. So we can see, we look at our clothes, and also our life, our living standards much improved. So we really cherish our work. So we would like to continue our work. So we would like to live a better life. So we want to get more paid. So there is nothing related to the Western media or Western people side forced labor. They never paid any single visit to our company. So they know zero about our company, our really daily life, how our life look like. So they just fabricated lies, and by making all these lies, they ruin our good life, and actually they make us to lose our jobs. I believe this is really shame on them. Unfortunately, some Western companies, based on false information, made this the cotton backlash. And for example, the companies from the other countries like H&M, Nike, Adidas, I believe by the end of the day, they lost their reputation in China, also lost their Chinese market share. So people in China know what's right and wrong. They refuse or suspend sourcing cotton from Xinjiang, and Chinese people also will not buy your products. So, but we look at the U.S. company Skechers in March issued a statement saying that after the independent inspections on the Chinese suppliers, and they found that there is no forced labor. I believe these kind of move will win the endorsement of Chinese consumers and will also help them to get more a proportion of the Chinese market share. I also welcome the companies home and abroad to visit Xinjiang to really look to the cotton field and also talk to the laborers in these companies to make your wise result and choice. And also let's see a video clip.
我们再谈一谈这个第三个问题。中国呢是这个法治
To
国家。
your third question, China is a law-based country. So people's every right and interest well protected by the law. Regarding the social governance, we always follow the principle of a law-governed practice, no matter which nationality or which religion you believe. As long as you abide by the law, then you enjoy every right and interest. Regarding the facial recognition technology to monitor the people with weaker nationalities, this is really hard to understand. So with the technology's advancement at the public areas, the highway, so we had these cameras in order to better protect the whole society and also to crack down the illegal activities. In 2014, the Association of Muslim people were killed, and also in a documentary made by CGTN show you these truths in that series. Without the CCTV camera, this could be very challenging to find the terrorists, and also we could not bring the facts and truths to the people. This is not really target any certain nationality. And we talk about that the CCTV camera picture not really automatically show the nationality of the people. The goal for these cameras to protect people's rights, that keep them safe. All these practices actually well endorsed and supported by people from different nationalities. Thank you, China News Service. Regarding the female issues, and some of the institutes or the media outlets from certain countries, and they talk about they search the females when they come to a certain age. They will look at their marriage status, and we also have the people or the delegate from the Feminine Federation. Would you please talk about more information in this regard? First, one thing very clear, there's no so-called sterilization. We have a clear role to force people to have that pregnancy test. So all these actually have clear rules in place. So the people, especially in southern part of Xinjiang, especially the female population, they right now had much rich experience in this regard. Whether they would like to have a baby control and in what way is all depend on themselves. There's their personal issue. They should decide by themselves, and also they also have the rights to decide. So for the Western institute or agency actually always make these fabricate lies. Actually, we talk about this is their own choice, and no one forced them to make a choice. And also would like to hear the delegates from the female association. We also invite a delegate from Hetian County. She's from the Women's Federation. I believe she knows more information in this regard. So we'll also invite her to speak. Hello to all. And in charge of the Women's Federation in Hetian County. So my job is to talk about the female residents. I know exactly how many children in each household. So actually, in our county, for each household, they had 2 to 3 children. So always see Western agencies make a nonsense. So the children got a free vaccination to the children, and also look at we have the really good health. So the kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, and all free of charge. So do not need to worry about children's the cost for the eating and study. So the life much improved. And female people always talk to me that before they had a really heavy burden, and they could, because they had many children at home, and the only job for them is to take care of their children. But right now they're saying because of the good policies and support from the government, and they have a free time to do other work. For me, actually, my husband and I had a very stable job, and also we had 2 children, and we had a really good life. Thank you.
Could I just ask, when you were in the camp, as you said, working, did you make any money? How were you paid? Were you paid cash or otherwise? Were you able to save any money? Thank you. We have a second.
您好，我是彭博社记者。我想问的是关于学员的问题。请问您在校园里挣钱吗？如果挣钱的话，是现金支付还是其他的方式？在那里您能不能省下钱？我还有其他的问题，先问这个问题，谢谢。
So you mean campus? So this maybe I invite our students. So for our camp, actually, it's more for study education. It's not really making living because it's not a job. So talking about that, a working center is more like teach the people or how to do that, become a technician, or it's like a cooking. It's more the skill training place. So to improve that skill, when they not really produce commercial products. So it's purely for them to enhance their skills. So that is also nothing related to income or payment. And Global Times. Certain agency and the media outlet from the certain country said that we actually remove the religious buildings in Xinjiang. So what's your take on that? In the China's constitution, people has the rights and the freedom to have their own religious belief. No one, no agency, institute allowed to force people to believe in or not believe in a certain religion, and there should be no discrimination on people's religion. And also look at our day-to-day work. If Muslim activities are well protected, based on their own rules, regulations, and their tradition, they can have their normal religious activities at home. It's based on their personal willingness. In 2020, because of COVID-19 pandemic, activities were cancelled, but actually we also had a chartered flight, organized people to Mecca to participate that pilgrimage activities. And we also translated in the foreign language the classic books for such as the Quran. So we would like to reaching or let more people get access to the classic book, and also do our best to protect the people. Right now we have around 10 schools, and we have the Islamic schools, and every year we recruit make sure that the tradition of Islamism will be carried forward, and also make sure that we have around 1,000 people with a different religion belief. Actually, they participate in the government and political affairs, and they served as a member of a CPPCC or NPC, and monitor the government's work. Regarding that, a large scale of knocking down a mosque in Xinjiang is totally come from nowhere. As long as a mosque registered, follow the rules and regulations and the laws, and every activity, and also the buildings are well protected by the laws. The mosque in Xinjiang actually built in the 1980s or 1990s or even earlier time. All these mosques, some is the adobe houses, and some is really in a shabby situation. So the normal religious activities could be really hard to be held when there is extreme weather condition going on, and also when the earthquake happen, is also very dangerous places for all these mosques. With urbanization and rural revitalization is advancing, the local government, based on the Muslims' needs, and also we push forward the efforts in the rural environment improvement, and we either skilled up or upgrade the building of a mosque, make sure it's a safe place with reasonable layout, and this actually win the support of the Muslim believers. So far, the mosque can fulfill people's needs. We also invite a person from a local mosque from Kosh. Hello, I'm from Kosh, Hong County. So the mosque was established in 1843. The area is around 1,800 square meters, so accommodating 1,500 people for the worship activities, and also have access to water, electricity. Also have air condition, the firefighting condition, and it's really nice, equipped with necessities and utilities. For Muslim marriage, and also the funeral activities, all held in mosque. And for the Muslim people had a good access to the knowledge of our religion, so we can get a knowledge from a classic book or from the mosque activity. In 2017, I paid a visit and also studied in the Muslim academy. I learned the classic books such as the Quran. And I also use my extracurricular time to read the other books in order to enrich my knowledge. You cannot call black white. So some Western people or media says they're saying it's true, then how could that we have this beautiful and a well-equipped mosque? And I also could I have that access to the knowledge of the Quran and also studied in the Muslim school? I think there is no such problem. So Xinjiang actually is very open and welcome our journalists to make interviews here, and also I also have a lot of the opportunities provided to our journalists. In general, we followed the regulations in place regarding the foreign journalists making reports and interviews in China. Of course, that we will provide active support for your interviews on the basis of abiding by the rules and regulations, because we have that the rules in place. Then if anything outside that rules, then that should be not allowed. We believe that for myself, and also based on my previous experience working with our foreign journalists, first of all, we always welcome your visit and your interview in Xinjiang. Before MOFA actually contact us for your interview request, so we also provide hospitality to welcome you to Xinjiang. And we had the good communication before interview, what kind of interview we like or which place you would like to visit. Of course, you need to first get the agreement with the interviewees. Back to 2019, actually myself also worked with journalists from many journalists from abroad, including BBC reporters. So they told me that your hospitality or arrangement beyond our expectation, a very satisfied interview and visit in Xinjiang. So they also made their trip to the studying center. They had an interview in the school, in the classroom. We're just waiting outside. So we just enjoyed a cup of tea while waiting them for finishing the interview. And they also asked me why not stand behind us to see what kind of question we ask. I said that I don't do so. Some people before saying that you should monitor us. So we just leave you in the classroom and we will enjoy a cup of tea and waiting for you to finish your interview. And some of your colleagues, they had that experience. You can ask them. We not interfere in your intervention and provide convenience and freedom for you. But unfortunately, we also face some dilemma. Some media outlet, some people actually just add a fake name or just as a fake outlet to lie to us and also make an interview in Xinjiang. I believe this something should not happen. Some media outlet when they had a film or shooting a film called Undercover in China, and they found some a actor to make a performance in their video, and they asked many questions relating to the company's secret. So making that inductive questioning. Or they had their shooting cameras hidden in their companies and make up a news saying that the camera actually installed by the Chinese government. And also in the end, that lie was unveiled, and also that the people actually be fooled or cheated actually came out saying that they felt that a fraud interview. And also another company called Schluzi Clothing Company, without getting the agreement from the interviewees, the reporters forced them to get an interview, and people refused to do so. That media actually used that picture, added into their video clip, saying that Chinese government forced the journalist to stop interviewing. I believe these kind of interview not really aligned with the rules and regulations, and also not in line with the price ethics. We always welcome your visit and also through your cameras to tell a true story of Xinjiang to the world. So no need to hidden your cameras. So anything you like, we provide for your facilitation. Either you can contact the Foreign Affairs Minister or contact us. We're always welcome. And also you would like to make your own interview in Xinjiang, we also welcome that. So we always welcome you to visit, make a field trip to Xinjiang. A lot of facts in Xinjiang would like to be unveiled through your camera. Renmin News Agency or People's Daily, talking about the language and the culture of Uyghur nationalities or highly discriminated. And the female Uyghur people were not allowed to wear veil, and the male people not allowed to use their own name. So first of all, this is the purely lies, and it's just cooked up a story. So first of all, we fully respect the language, culture of a different ethnic group and the religions. In the public affairs and the government work, all these different languages are well protected, and the Uyghur language, Kazakh language, Mongolian language actually all used. So we make sure that the people with different nationalities can learn their own language and also carry forward the religious language and culture. Regarding the commercial stores, the public transportation signs, you always can see that multi-language services are provided. For the government and authorities, they can use the language in common use and their own language. Kazakh, Mongolian, Uyghur, and Mandarin languages are used. And Xinjiang radio use 5 languages in their 12 radio programs. And Xinjiang TV also use 4 languages in their 12 TV shows. All these provide convenience to people, their way of life and way of work. We always respect the religion tradition, and based on the laws and the constitutions, each religion has their own rights to modify their culture and the religion and the tradition. So we always respect their food culture, the marriage and a funeral tradition, as well as their holidays. For the special food support, for example, we have special measures to provide Muslim food and talk about the transportation and area and also the stopover stations. We also provide the Muslim food and also with the companies. And we have the mutton and the beef provided to the companies with a Muslim people or Muslim employees. And if the religion has the tradition of a burial in the ground, we also have a place provided to these religion. And for the naming or other cultural activities, traditions, there's no limitation on that. We always cherish and protect the religion and the culture of each religion. And we also treated these as the non-cultural heritage. And we would like to see that the carrying forward of all these culture and tradition. And we also have the culture and the tradition listed in the United Nations Intangible Cultural Heritage as well as China's Intangible Cultural Heritage. And for the oral culture, we also the instrument, carpet manufacturing are all treated and as a national intangible cultural heritage, and we also have the projects to carry forward the culture. We also invite a special guest, a professor, to elaborate more. With the establishment of New China, especially after the reform and opening up, the Chinese government has attached a great importance in protecting and carrying forward the culture and the tradition in Xinjiang among different religions. For myself, throughout my whole career, you see the cultural relics in Xinjiang, I experienced the whole process from excavation to the cultural restoration. The Ministry of Culture established a specific working task in saving these cultural relics, and also published 2 books of music scores of this traditional instrument. And we also later on had the programs and shows related to the traditional instruments, and also released the audio tape And for the Udon Mukam, we have around the 100 works released in this regard. UNESCO announced the oral and intangible cultural heritage, and now become one of the item on the list. And we also passed unanimously in Xinjiang to protect Mukam, and this is also the first legislation released to protect cultural heritage. In the Batu, Aksu, Turpan, and Hami County establish a national or local level Mukam Learning Center. Right now we have the predecessors to carry forward the skill of Mukam. And the Xinjiang Music School also made a trip to United States, Singapore, Pakistan to stage the performance, and also work with orchestra from Hong Kong to hold a concert titled Silk Road. This is much welcomed by the audience. Culture is the blood to carry forward a nation. If the Chinese government like to die out the Uyghur culture, then how could all these works performance be true and held on the stage? So please open your eyes. If you still have your conscience, still have your bottom line, stop fabricating the rumor. Thank you very much, Professor. And he's the expert in studying Mukam. And right now, he's also preparing for shooting a video clip to talk more about the culture of Mukam. So much anticipated and much looking forward to seeing your videos.
是来自巴通社的记者。长久以来，新疆一直饱受恐怖主义和极端民困的困扰。在中央政府和自治区政府的团结努力之下，新疆已经摆脱了不攻击的弊端。我的问题就是，虽然新疆社会繁荣稳定、经济发展，为什么美国和国家依然在批评政府？
Thank you. In the previous time period, Xinjiang also suffered a lot from terrorism. and people's the life and their property were much damaged. On top of that, in Xinjiang, especially the southern part of Xinjiang, the development is left behind with the arduous work in the recent years. Anti-terrorism has achieved a good result. As you can see, as in the 4 years in a row, there's no a terrorism accident happened. This is a hard-won result. And also, we historically win the battle against extreme poverty. This is unprecedented achievement. And also you ask about why the United States, other countries, officials still criticize Xinjiang, why they still do so. We also think about these questions frequently. In the old days, when the frequent happened terrorism activities were attacked, we did not see these kind of criticism. We believe that could be something they expect to see. So that could be the best view in Xinjiang. That was their goal. But right now, you look at Xinjiang, realize a stable and prosperity in Xinjiang. People enjoy a very happy life. The anti-China people drag Xinjiang back to the old days was really hard. So they could not achieve their goal. So from my understanding, that they anxious. That is why they criticize Xinjiang. So that is why they turn a blind eye on Xinjiang, regardless the facts, and also don't care about whether it's fact-based or reasonable accusation. That is why they come up with the so-called forced labor allegation. And their ultimate goal is to smear Xinjiang's image on the global landscape and interfere in China's internal affairs. And their goal by the end is to damage China's revitalization or a Chinese dream of a national rejuvenation. This is how they think about this. We see that clearly. So that is why we introduce the truth in Xinjiang. So that is also the reason we do so. Everything we do in Xinjiang, nothing could be criticized. And the truth also tell that the activities very successful, our policy is very successful. No matter what we do, a anti-China force never said correctly. This is a historical issue and also a political issue. In front of facts, we always could see their bias, their prejudice, and their intention to contain China's progress. But also we not swallow it. We have our firm belief and we follow our strategies and philosophies and based on the central government's roadmap. And we will bring benefits to our people in a frank and open manner. I believe that is the best answer to the smear from the United States and other countries. So one last two questions, please. So CGTN, please. We have seen that there is a report saying that the children are forced to separate it from their parents. What's your take on that?
所谓这个新疆强迫少数民族儿童寄宿学校放弃学校，造成这个本土
The so-called we force the children in Xinjiang to take a boarding school and separating from their families. This is truly lie. I talk about because of the geographic features, the student we had a long way to schools, and also their families had a big issue and difficulties in sending their kids to school and taking them back home. We had around 400 boarding schools covering the primary school and the middle schools. And with the urbanization and the rural revitalization advancement, and also based on the local needs of the students as well as the safety of transportation, we had already plans in a reasonable manner. We strictly follow the standards in place made by the government. For each boarding school, it has equipped with the sufficient resources. For the teachers, after the training and also the hands-on experience in the other places, in other provinces, the funds for the boarding schools are paid by the government. For the compulsory education, their tuition and expenditure at schools are free of charge. And they also enjoyed a specific allowance, subsidies. And the elementary school, they had 1,200 subsidies. And for the student at the middle school, they received 1,500 yuan subsidies per year, so help to lower the burden on their family. And they actually chose make this choice either with the boarding school or not based on their own willingness. We never force the students separating from their parents. For students in boarding schools, they go back home every weekend. The early Monday, they back to school. The Friday afternoon, after the school, they go back home. And also for the winter and the summer holidays, and they also back home. And also allowed the apply for leaving. And we also have the phones installed at each floor. And they always can make phone calls to their family. And a teacher in charge of the class, their phone information, contact information also available to their parents. So the parents always can make contact with the school teachers. So there's no so-called forcing separation between the family members and their children. I also invite a special guest from the school to show you more details. Hello to all. I'm actually the family member of I have two kids, and two kids actually in the boarding school, and also my wife is a teacher at school. And I work in other places, and my wife need to teach at school, and actually it's very busy for her to teaching at the schools while taking care of the two children. So that is why we send our two kids to the boarding school. The tuitions, the other expenditures, and also the dorm cost all covered. So it's free of charge. So the boarding school actually provides enough studying time. The time for going to school, back home, all saved. And students also had a well-planned timelines for students. At the same time, they also provide a lot of extra curriculum activities. So the kids actually have the good habit in living their own life, managing their time. And also the teachers and the classmates also help each other. So you can see my kids actually right now have a really good grades. Studying in boarding schools set assured the parents, so that also save us some energy and time. Here, I would like to call on to the people making lines. My wife is a teacher. The boarding school is good or not, we know exactly the fact. If it's like what you said, how is it possible that we send our kids to the boarding schools? Thank you.
进入最后一个提问哈，刚才彭博社记者用了那个 camp 这个词儿，我们对此呢还是表示不能接受的，因为这个词儿呢我们。
So just now, a reporter from Bloomberg used camp. Actually, we have our standard translations. Camp with strong a bias and ideological philosophy. So I also give you a chance to ask the last question.
And yet you describe Xinjiang as an open region. Can you sort of explain the discrepancy here? Thank you.
他还是新疆的那个采访的问题。
好，您好，我有一个关于外国记者去新疆参访的问题。外国记者到新疆时候，往往在飞机上就会遇到警察，在新疆四处。在新疆的时候，常常也受到警察的跟踪，警察也会阻止他们与当地的人民交流，不让他们去自己想去的地方。您刚才说新疆是开放的，能不能请您就此给出一个解释？谢谢。
我刚才其实已经回答了这个问题。
Regarding your question, I already answered in the previous question. It's just you encountered these issues accompanying the police on the plane? So is it yourself experienced this? So someone told you this, right? Their experience. So for my understanding, I believe it's that this case not exist or anymore. In the previous time period, a terrorism activity or terrorism attacks happened frequently. We had the worries. Terrorists attacks people, no matter where you're from or who you are. And let me finish first. So we concerned about your safety, but we not interfered in your interviews or the other news coverage activities. Regarding the certain agencies or institutions or personnel refuse your interviews. So that could happen. So either they call the police or the other means to call the police. That could be possible because they didn't like to be interviewed, but actually follow a normal interview activities that shouldn't happen. Because right now we could see that the people really had that enthusiasm of visiting Xinjiang. You could contact me or contact the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or you visit by yourself. It's all welcomed. If you encountered the same situation as you described, you also can contact us. We will look into details. But based on my knowledge, that issue not exists.
这是路透社的记者。
你是路透社记者啊？
So with Reuters.
还夸你中文说得好。这个问题呢，在上一次新闻发布会上，
So your question
这个我们已经就有些情况呢做了比较详细的介绍。
have already been answered partly in our last presser. And we also had a video conference with the embassy in Singapore, and we also had a transcript available online. So I will not repeat myself. You can check online. Thank you. That does for today's presser. Thank you all. And we will also have this kind of a presser on a regular time manner. You are all welcomed and invited. Thank you all.